Grace and peace, everybody. I was supposed to do this on Thursday, but I didn't. But it don't matter. I'm doing it today, so to God be the glory for that. Um, I didn't have anything to say on Thursday anyway, so I'm saying it today. Here's the thing: we're gonna talk about something very, very sensitive with something that I never thought that I would actually talk about. Um, and I just never thought that it would be so close to my heart that I'm talking about suicide. And the thing of it is that I've thought about it before, and I remember my mom asking me, like, have you ever thought about it? And I was like, yeah, I thought about it, but I thank God that I never acted on it. I thank God that He took away the thoughts. I thank God that all the feelings that I was feeling, um, He redirected them where they were supposed to go and just helped me. Um, but what I want to say is this: it was just going through my mind. Um, what I want to say is that I'm gonna put my there again. What I want to say is that really one of my family members, and it's my sister, wanted to and attempted to, um, she wrote the letters and everything, and was doing her best to just try to exit out of here. And I know sometimes, well, I don't know. I know to an extent. I've never gotten that far to where I've actually sent some letters to somebody, but I can understand the feelings, right? And so this is just how I see it. And if I am completely wrong, then by all means tell me, and I will most definitely apologize and do my best to see it from your perspective. So, yeah. So, she, what I understand is that, you feeling all these feelings and things are just going wrong one after the other, after the other, after the other. And the best way you could think to handle the situation is to just exit out, is to just leave completely, is to just say, I quit, and I don't want to feel the way I'm feeling anymore. I don't want to go through the things that I'm going through anymore. But what I am understanding also is that if you complete it, if you follow all the way through, you without even knowing are causing the people who are still here, who are close to you, to believe that when it gets that tough and the feelings are overwhelming, that you could just say, I'm done, in that way. And I am coming to, I'm thinking about it in this way, like somehow the Lord is not strong enough to stop those feelings. It's not strong enough. And maybe you're not saying that. And maybe you're not thinking about it in that way. We're just in our feelings at the particular time. I'm going to leave it like that. You're just in your feelings so much to the point where you don't see a better outcome. And so something else that I was thinking about before I got on here, before I started speaking, is that I know those feelings are overwhelming. I know those feelings. I know those feelings can be heartbreaking. I know those feelings can crush you, can feel like they're crushing you, can feel like I don't know any other way to do it. I don't know any other way to make it stop. But what I am learning is that some of the situations that is causing the feelings we have truly put ourselves in. Some of the situations that is allowing us to, that is causing us to feel that what we're feeling, the enemy has a lot to do with it. And some of the feelings that we are feeling, the Lord Himself has placed us in, and not to hurt us. For the Lord not to hurt us, but to bring something out of us, to show us something about ourselves, to build us. Because God don't come to, He don't come to kill us. He said that's what the enemy does. He said the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. He come that we may have life and have it more abundantly. That's what the Lord comes to do. And sometimes we learn best when we have been through something and came out on the other side. And when it comes to the enemy, he can't even come at you unless he petitions the Lord first. And I sit here and I think about that. Like, he can't even come for you until he asks God first. And then there's parameters around what he can and what he cannot do to you. And so that gives me comfort. But for the person who don't even understand that yet, who can't even fathom that yet, that all they see is their feelings, honey, I just need you to hold on. Honey, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It may look dark, like you can't even see your hand in front of your face. All you feel is hurt. All you feel is pain. All you want to do is cry. All you want to do, no, all you want is for it to stop. And I remember some times like that. Especially the time when it was concerning my father, which I still deal with today. Crying, wondering why I didn't get the father that I thought I was supposed to have. But I got the right father. I got the right father. It may not have looked the way I thought in my mind it should look, but he was the right father. God don't make, he's very intentional about who he places you with. And we have to be a little bit more aware of the people we place ourselves with, the people we surround ourselves with, the company that we keep. And so if we cannot distinguish between the three different situations, which is the ones we put ourselves in, the one that the enemy petitioned to put us in, or the one that the Lord himself placed us in, I implore you to ask the Lord. I implore you to just ask God, just stop. Just stop. Stop trying to figure it out. Stop trying to do anything and just stop and just ask God and say, God, did I do this myself? Is the enemy doing this to me, or are you doing this to me? Show me which one is which so that I know, and then show me how to navigate it. Because the ones that the Lord places you in, he gives you the strength in order to be there and to make it through. And that the ones that the enemy try to surround you with, he is a kitty cat that has no teeth, and all he has is a bark. Now I know sometimes the bark can be loud and it can seem overpowering, and he can sound like a lion, but he ain't. But he ain't. And I'm going to give an analogy from Lion King. And so, like, when Simba was, like, growling, like, wow, and the hyenas was like, ooh, do it again. Like, they were teasing him because his bark was so cute And then he did it again, and he said, "Wow!" And he was like, "Woo!" And they were like, "Woo!" Like, "Oh, we're scared, we're scared," and they were laughing at him. But then when he did it, like, I think the third or the fourth time, and they heard the real growl of a lion, they got scared. But it wasn't Simba. It was his daddy. And I remember Priscilla Shire saying something like this too. But it was literally his daddy, and it just blessed me, because to know that the Father, when I try to growl and try to bark at whatever's in front of me and try to like make it scared and make it go away and all of that, I have Simba's little voice, like, "Meow." But there is a Father that stands behind me, that when he roars, everything gets scared. Everything starts shaking that's in front of you, trying to make you scared. I hope I said it right. So, back to this suicide thing, and it's like, I can only speak from the person, from the family member perspective. I can't speak from the person who actually is thinking about it strongly, who has attempted it, who is thinking about it, like who has made the plan to do it. I can't speak from that perspective, but what I can do is speak from the family member's perspective. And that's the only angle I have, because as a person who thought about it, but then God helped me with the thoughts, because I asked and I asked and I asked, and he helped me. And the reason that I said I asked is because sometimes we don't get quiet enough to hear the answer the first time. And then we think God didn't answer. So we ask him again. And then we're still talking so much that we didn't hear him answer the second time, that we ask again. But he answers. And I don't think that I was quiet enough. That's the reason why I said again and again and again. Because God answers. It's whether or not we're quiet enough, or whether or not we know his voice enough to say, "Hey, that was God." Or as it is in tune with his character to know on how he's directing us. Let me say it that way too. Because he could be nudging us to go a certain way, and we're like resisting it because it seems unnatural. A lot of the things that the Lord do is truly not what we would think he would do. But back to speaking from the perspective of the family member, it's truly devastating. It's truly heartbreaking to know and to think about not having your family here. To know that there's nothing you could do there's nothing that you could do if they followed through, if they attempted it, because it's like you want to do something and you want to say the right things and you want to be able to help, but you don't know how to help. You don't know what to say. And I'm in a situation where my sister attempted, but then she still is dealing, right? And it's like, I don't know what to say, so I don't say anything. Sometimes I don't know what to do, so I don't do anything. And for people who don't have the Lord, who don't know the Lord like I do, I'm still in that same situation of not knowing. And I know the Lord. And I consult the Lord. But I still have the feelings of not knowing what to do. So when I tell you, I'm going to just give you a little snippet of like the situation. So she called me. She didn't even call me. She texted me. And it said something to the effect like, oh, this is the last time, we're going to speak. Or no, she said something like, hey, I hope you're having a great day. And, this may be the last time you're talking to me. And I'm thinking, not thinking that it was that, just thinking like, oh, thanks. So I sent back, oh, thank you for the text, sis. And then I went about my day. I had another younger sister over, and she had spent the night, and so we're just sitting there chilling. I'm scrolling online, she's watching TV, and then all of a sudden I get a phone call from my sister's best friend, and she's like, it's something wrong with this text that that Sandra sent me. And I'm just like, okay. So I thought a little bit more about it, and then I said, okay, well, I'll call her. And from that point on, when I tell you, immediately I had no feelings. It was like I couldn't feel what I should have been feeling. I couldn't feel afraid. I couldn't feel scared. I didn't feel afraid. I didn't feel scared. I didn't feel panicked. I didn't feel anxious. I didn't feel worried. I didn't feel anything. It was like the Lord, and I know now it was the Lord who just stopped me from feeling. And I just called my sister. And when she didn't answer, and everybody who knows me, I call until I get you. And I keep calling, and I keep calling, and I keep calling. And I kept calling, and she did not pick up. So then I began to pray. And I asked the Lord, I said, Jesus, just let her answer. And I kept calling, and I kept calling. And what we have to understand, when we ask God for something, it's in His time. It may not happen right away, because I'm telling you, I called at least 30 more times before she picked up the one time. And so she picked up, and I was like, Sandra, she's like, stop calling me, Tony. This is the last time you're going to talk to me. Stop calling me. I said, well, can I talk to you? And she hung up. So I kept calling. And as I'm calling, I'm texting. And as I'm texting, I'm praying. I'm saying, Jesus, do you want me to call the police? Or can you, do you want me to call the police? Do you want me to have somebody track her phone? Do you want me to, what do you want me to do? And as I'm texting my sister, I'm like, Sandra, like, hey, if this is the last time, I remember one of the texts, I said, if this is the last time that I'm ever going to get to be with you, can you just let me come sit with you? I would like to just sit with you. Now, I have feelings about that today, but on that day, I didn't have no feelings about saying that. I texted, and she texts back, it's gonna be too late. So I kept calling, and I kept texting. And then all of a sudden, the Lord was like, get up. Go downtown. So I got up. I started putting on my clothes. I did not tell my younger sister who was in the house with me. I just put on my clothes. And then all of a sudden, I hear, go downtown. So then I got a phone call from her friend again, her best friend again, which is truly my sister and both of our sisters. She said, I had Sandra phone traced, and I called the police. But before that happened, Sandra picked up the phone and she said, I'm downtown. No, before that happened, I asked the Lord, I said, Jesus, just have her tell me where she is. Right? And so she called, she answered the phone, and then she said, oh, I'm downtown. After I thought to go downtown. And she said, I'm downtown by the riverfront, blah, blah. So I get in the car and I just drive down there. But I asked God to have her tell me where she is. She tried to fake me out, right? But when I got downtown, I'm walking towards the Renaissance building and I don't see her. I'm still calling her at this time. She finally picked up and I said, well, where are you? Because I'm down here. And she said, I'm not there. I'm at this other park. The police walked up on me. They found me. Somebody had my phone traced. Now these are all the prayers that I asked the Lord for before. And her best friend had her phone traced. Had the police come get her. And they found her at Metro Beach. So I said, Sandra, I didn't even say anything. She said, oh, I'm going towards this hospital. I'm going to this hospital. Do you want to speak to the police officer? I said, yes, I would love to. And I don't consider this to be a coincidence. Her police officer name was Paul, which is amazing. And when I got there, I said, I'm on my way. I thank Mr. Paul for finding my sister. I thank God. I thank my younger sister who I knew was praying. You know how you can just look at somebody and you just know they praying? She was most definitely praying. So that was pretty much it. That's a little snippet. More happened, but I still didn't feel anything throughout the entire day by the time I got home, which was almost midnight, a little bit after midnight. And when I unlocked my door and stepped on the other side, that's when I felt everything. I began to cry. And I still cry some days. I began to cry uncontrollably because I couldn't understand why I was okay the entire day, and then it just flushed over me. It just washed over me. As soon as I stepped on the inside of my house and locked the door, I just began to cry for about a half an hour. And I cried and I cried. And I could not understand. And speaking as the sibling or as the person who loves this person, I couldn't understand why. And I was mad at her for even attempting to. And I remember the next day, I picked her up from the hospital and we took her to get her car. I took her to get her car. And as we get to the place, I'm trying to explain it to the attendant at the front of the park. And she just yells to me. She just says, Tony, you got to deal with that. And I didn't know how to deal with it. And so I'm dealing with it the best way I know how, which is to talk about it, which is to feel every bit of feeling that I have when it happens, when it just pops back up in my mind. Like I feel like crying right now. But I know that the Lord is going to get us through this. I know that if I just ask him, because he's answered all my other prayers. May not have been when I wanted him to, some of them, but he answered them. I know that's one thing about him, that he answers. And sometimes it don't be the way in which I want it to be answered, but he answers. So I can cash that check. I can bank on that. I can put everything that I am and everything that I have into that, knowing that he'll answer. And so that gives me a little comfort. That gives me comfort sometimes. And sometimes I just gotta cry. Because I don't know how I would live this life without her. I don't know what that would look like. She's the one who brought me to the Lord. I don't know how that would look. I don't know what I would do. I don't know how much of a pause that would put on my life. I just don't know. And I don't want to. If I'm speaking my heart, I don't want to. So that's what was on my mind today. And I know it's a little deep and a little much, but I pray that if you are out there feeling as though the trials of your life, or your just everyday life, I won't even call them trials, but just your everyday life is so overwhelming. I just need you to stand still, my love. Just stand still. Don't do nothing. Don't think about doing nothing. Don't try to make it work. Because when we do that, we make it worse. I just pray that you tell somebody. And that if you know the Lord, just ask him, hey, help me. Don't ask him what to do, just ask him to help you. And then just open your eyes and don't move. I love you all to life. I thank you even for listening, if you do listen, or if you do watch this. I'm praying for you, and I'm praying for the families of the people who are going through these things. God bless you. And that is all. Comment if you want. Share if you want. Subscribe if you want. There's truly no pressure. And this literally helps me. It doesn't do anything else but help me. And when you comment and when you watch, I hope it helps you too. All right, I love you guys to life again. I'm praying for you always. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.